Today is the 9th of November and I'm still waiting for an upload of Software 9. So this video tries to explain to our friends in the US and in Canada why we in Europe don't have version 9 yet. Or maybe some have, but I'll tell you why. Just hang in there. I think the main reason are data protection regulations in Europe. And there may also be a technical reason for this delay. The Tesla website does not give you any information, so this is all speculation, and it may not be up to date anymore in a few days. So on the one hand, dash cams are becoming more and more popular here in Europe. It's not that they don't exist. Actually, it seems to be a fad to use dash cams. And as you know from all these crash videos from Russia, in snow and winter, they're actually quite a bit in use, at least in Eastern Europe. But also in Western Europe, dash cams have become more and more popular. But the legal situation surrounding the use of dash cams is not so uniform and it's not so easy. Let me explain. On the one hand, it's of course not allowed to mount anything on your screen that would obstruct the view of the driver to the traffic and which would impede his being able to follow what's going on outside of the car. In a Tesla, of course, because of the built-in cameras, that problem would not exist. However, there are quite strict privacy rules. You cannot just film anyone out on the street or cars, at least not identifiable persons, without their consent. So for instance, even if someone is filming what's going on out in the traffic and sees that there's a huge infraction and says, oh, this is great, I'm going to report this to the police, and hands over whatever he or she has filmed, that is not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. So you're committing not a crime, but at least you're committing an infraction if you would do that. And data protection agencies at least in Germany or Switzerland, would actually forbid you to film other people without their consent. So if you film something and that information is really kept only on your camera and you only watch it at home, that's probably okay. But if you publish it, then things get a little bit more tricky. And there's actually discussion going on whether that is allowed or not allowed. So in some countries in Europe, just even filming, even the use of a dash cam is either prohibited or is only allowed with a special permit or is only allowed if you use it at home, whatever you want to watch. And in other countries, again, there are restrictions on whether you wish to publish whatever you have filmed, whether you want to put it into a YouTube video. Of course, usually with the consent of someone, you can do pretty much what you want. But how can you obtain the consent of people that you're filming on the street, things that you accidentally capture with your dash cam, the car in front of you, the license plate, faces of people right and left on the street. So that gets tricky there, and you might be able, or you might have to pixel out any information that will allow you or allow anyone to trace back who that person is. And another complication is that the legal situation is not uniform across Europe, and there are some countries which are stricter than others, some are more lenient, and so it's not quite easy. So I can very well imagine that Tesla wants to be very sure that once they introduce version 9 of the software, which allows capturing some sections of what you're filming with a dash cam, they want to be very sure that this will not infringe in any laws, and I think make it very clear that is the responsibility of the driver to adhere to whatever local rules there exist. So I think that is one of the reasons why there is a delay in the introduction of version 9. Another reason for the delay might be of a merely technical nature. As you know, this version 9 now allows the use of practically all the cameras, all the 8 built-in cameras in a Tesla, but I'm not quite sure what these cameras are capturing. Maybe Tesla is trying to test, at least in the background, reading traffic signs and reading speed signals. At the moment, Tesla uses Google Maps for speed limits, to incorporate speed limits in the driving, but Google Maps is not very precise here in Europe. I myself have witnessed several occasions where the Google Maps will say that, let's say, 50 kilometers per hour are allowed, whereas in reality only 30 are allowed. So that may be one of the reasons. Another is that in Europe, in many countries, in some countries at least, in particular around cities, there are dynamic speed limits. So the speed limit is not fixed to, let's say, 80 kilometers an hour or 100 kilometers an hour, but the speed limit may vary according to the density of traffic. So you have these speed limit signs that can change. It can be one time of the day it's 60, another it's 80, another it's 100. So if the autopilot software should at some day really allow for autonomous driving, they have to be able to read those signs and not rely on just Google Maps information. And so maybe that's also one of the reasons why there is a delay of the introduction of version 9 here in Europe, that they're trying to tweak something in the background. Again, this is merely speculation, and maybe some of the viewers here have some views on that and some comments, which of course you're free to put down below. And of course, even better would be to subscribe to this channel. But again, in a few days, I might have to take this clip off anyway, because software 9 might be introduced. It will be interesting to see whether the European version will be the same as the one in the US or Canada, or whether there will be variants within Europe according to the country. Anyway, I hope you found this clip informative. Again, if you like it, you can click on like. If you want to get more, then I would appreciate if you could subscribe to this, but of course it's not necessary. Anyway, enjoy whatever you're doing. Bye-bye. And just to finish up and to compensate for your patience in having watched this video, a few photos taken from the car at maybe some unusual angles. Bye-bye.